Position and Money Management Part 6. I'm sure you're really getting your head around this add and reduce concept and how to use it. So let's look at it in a few other different ways. And in the last section, we're really going to get an eye-opening as how we're going to use that. So let's look forward to that. So we're going to look at how to do this to break even, how to lock in a profit, and even how to start with a full position size and lock in half of our profit. So that's what we're going to do. Break even, lock it in, or half. Word on protective stops. Have to reinforce this. That's just the definition, as I've put it here. The point at which you have predetermined the probability of the trade working as originally intended no longer exists. So you exit. It's that simple. We can put the odds in our favor, or can be overwhelmingly in our favor. And with the money management techniques that we're talking about, we can exponentially increase the gains that could have been probable with a very basic money management technique. But there's no guarantees. So when the stop gets hit, we have a calculated risk and we exit. Remember, there are choices based on your knowledge, your personality, your experience. So reducing position size is always a great choice when in doubt. We use technical stops, as I showed you, based on the chart. Well, we start with a dollar amount, meaning this is what I'm going to risk. We then connect it to the chart based on the price pattern. This is all based on trend, support, resistance, supply, and demand. This is how the markets operate and how institutions trade. Sure, they'll use things subjective like a 50-period moving average or a 200-period moving average. And when those subjective reference points come into alignment, especially on the market indices and widely known stocks, when they come into alignment with actual real price support, the odds of prices holding there are overwhelmingly in our favor. Now, while we're looking at these charts here, and I'm not defining a time frame, you can take this same information and use it with multiple time frames, meaning an example of that would be prices are coming down to a 50-period moving average on the daily chart, and you get a reversal, and then you wait for your intraday time frame, whatever that might be, according to your plan. It could be a 15-minute chart, it could be a 5-minute chart. You wait for the trend to develop. You make sure that there's a tradable void. You then put on your position for the setup as it occurs in your time frame. You have your calculated risk, and you wait for things to develop. And when you get a new setup, just like explained, you add and reduce. You take your profit that you have in there and you add more shares with your risk. You bring up your stop and then continue to manage it according to the plan. Let's go on. So half the shares, twice the stop, add and reduce to break even. And here's our original trade that we've had. Now 1,000 shares, right? Half the shares, twice the stop. And at our new entry point, we have $300 risk. So we're going to take that $300 and we are going to buy additional shares based on the new setup. Now, if we're stopped out and we lose the $300 gain, we're stopped on everything and we're stopped at break even. So the new trade allows us to buy 1,500 shares, and the potential gain, if we hit our target, is $900. And our $1,500 shares times 60 cents, and our reward to risk is 30. We're going to make 3 times our money. 3 times 300, we're going to make $900 on that second trade. So our total risk here is $300. Total share size, 2,500. The 1,000 from the first trade, the 1,500 on the addition trade. Our total reward, $2,000. And our total reward to risk, 6.66. 300 risk, made $200. we still only risked our original $300. You see how powerful this concept is? Half the shares, twice the stop, add and reduced, and we're going to lock a profit. Same original trade, same 1,000 shares, our $1,100 gain if we hit our target with the 1,000 shares, 3.6 R. At this time, we're going to only risk $150 of our profit. We're going to be locking in that $300 of our original risk, meaning if it hits our stop, we'll be losing that $300, and we'll be giving up $150 of our gain. And we will be locking in that $150. And here's the second trade. So $450, 20 cents to the stop. We can add 2,250 shares. And if we hit our target on that, $1,350, and our reward to risk, or R's, would be 4.5, and $300 risk, $1,350 gain on the second trade. Total max risk, $300. Total shares, 3,250. 1,000 here, 2,250 there for 3,250 shares. Total reward, $2,450 and 8.1 R. $2,450 gain on $300 risk. Let's consider we went in with a full size. Again, different market environments, different situations happening at the time. This is one of our decisions that we're going to make, and it's going to be part of our plan. So based on this example, we're going to risk the $300 with the same 15-cent stop, 2,200 shares. If we hit our target, we're going to make $2,200. Right? $300 risk, $2,200 gain, 7.3 R. So at this point here, in the same setup, same 20-cent stop, same entry point, we're going to risk half of our gain, our $600 gain that we have on that 2,000 shares. So we're going to lock in half of that $600 gain, meaning if our stop gets hit, we're going to make $300. Now, the whole focus of this is to maximize our profits, not make small gains. So adding that, we're locking in something, but if everything is working out, right, we're going to be $300 risk, gives us 1,500 shares, times our 60 cents to our target is $900, based on that 3R, based on that trade. Still total risk, 300. Total shares, 3,500. Our total reward would be $3,100. And our total R's, or reward to risk, would be 10.33. $300 risk, $3,100 gain. We still only risked the original $300. Okay, this is what we've covered so far. And now we're going to look at half the position, twice the stop, and then we're going to add to reduce. This is going to be very enlightening, one of the most powerful parts of the course. And this whole course is extremely powerful. Watching it 2 or 3 times, go through the calculations yourself. Of course, paper trade it, get very familiar with it, and then of course you're going to do it for real. But let's take a look at this next section.